I dare you. I dare you to live for the kind of person that you are becoming rather than for what you can get in this life. You see, getting gets you to a final destination, but becoming, it's a temporary destination, a constantly moving target, because you can never get to a point where you don't need any improvements anymore. You see, we've seen people who have committed suicide a year or two after achieving a huge goal because they never thought in their lifetime that they would achieve the dream. They were just going wild with their imagination, and they never planned for a life beyond achieving that goal. And all of a sudden, they find themselves in a reality of having achieved this goal, and they don't know what to do with themselves anymore. Because, their time was always consumed by working towards this goal. And all of a sudden, now that they are living in the reality of having achieved that goal, they don't know what to do with themselves anymore. You find people getting into deep depression after achieving huge goals, where people externally are celebrating you, but you feel like you don't know what to do with yourself anymore because you never actually believed that you would achieve that goal. And ultimately, we find that people start accepting death as their final destination because they just don't know what to do with themselves anymore. And they commit suicide. But you see, when you live for who you can become, who you are becoming, then ultimately you get the things in any case that you want. Because when you start to make decisions about who you want to become, who you are becoming, then you start seeing value in every minute of the day. You see, there's so many things that we do in a day that we do not take note of. Sometimes we feel like, it's mundane things. I'm doing the same thing every day. I'm waking up, I'm having breakfast, I'm doing my exercises, then I'm going to work, then I come back home to sit and watch TV. And you don't see value in any of these things that you're doing every day because you feel like, it's just a repeat every day. I dare you to start looking at your life from a point of view of who am I becoming in this moment. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner voice magnified. You see, we lose value in the little things that we do every day when we don't see who we are becoming in those moments. You see, waking up every day, going to work and showing up to work when you're supposed to, that shows discipline. How many times have you maybe complained about you lacking discipline, whereas you're waking up every single day to go to work? Whereas you're waking up every single day to go to school? Whereas you're waking up every day to work on your business. It takes discipline, but because you've perfected your discipline in that area, you don't see that it takes discipline to wake up every day and show up where you are required. How many people do you know after payday who don't show up to work? There's so many people who get sick every single week or every month. This person will be off 5 times at least in a month because they don't have the discipline to show up every single day when they're supposed to show up. When we don't see who we are becoming in every moment, we don't see value in the days that we are living. But when you start recognizing that you are actually a person of discipline, then you notice that it is only the fact that I don't have discipline in a certain area. But now that I realize that generally I do have discipline, I can look at what I'm doing every single day to make sure that I show up where I'm supposed to show up. And I can copy all those steps into the area that I've been complaining about. that, in this area, I don't have discipline. And I previously thought it's because I generally don't have discipline. But now I realize that was a lie. When you start intentionally living for who you are becoming, then you start appreciating the everyday things that you're doing. You see, when you live for who you are becoming, you start saying things like, I'm going to forgive. In the season that I'm going into, as we are facing spring, I want to offload. I mean, there's so many springs, 5 springs that I really didn't enjoy, because for the past 5 years, I've been heavy with anger. I've been heavy with bitterness. I've been heavy with unforgiveness. But this year, as I'm approaching spring, I want to be as light as the flowers that are blooming right now. I want to enjoy this spring because I want to let go of unforgiveness. I want to become the person who's not bitter anymore. I want to become a happier version of myself. I want to become a lighter version of myself. I want to live to please my spirit rather than to please other people. I dare you. I dare you to live for the kind of person that you can become rather than for what you can get in this world. So many times we want people to be certain things to us that we are not willing to be to them. You want loyalty from friends. You want loyalty from a relationship that you yourself are not willing to bring into this friendship, into this relationship. So as I am living right now intentionally for who I'm becoming, I want to become a loyal friend. What does loyalty mean? I want to be there whenever somebody needs me. I want them to know that I am that shoulder they can cry on, and they can trust that whatever is shared between me and them will never be shared beyond that conversation that we are having. I want to be a loyal person in the season that I'm becoming. If that means me letting go of friends who constantly enjoy sitting around the table and having somebody for dinner, then I'm willing to let go of such people, because in the season that I'm getting into, I'm becoming something different. I'm becoming somebody who doesn't have time for gossip, because I've got time only to build loyalty. I've got time only for quality relationships. I'm living to please my spirit and no longer to please other people. I don't care if they think I'm trying to make myself better. I don't care if they think I'm proud in this season. I'm trying to become something. And in me becoming, there are people I'm going to have to let go of, because they are not serving who I'm becoming. Yes, I used to enjoy sitting around the table and having somebody for dinner. But in the season that I'm coming into, I've decided I'm going to develop the kind of a quality and personality that I expect of other people. I'm going to be the friend that I expect other people to be to me. I dare you in this season to ignore your age. You see, when we start working towards what we can get, we start setting targets of, at this age, I need to be this. At this age, I need to have had this. And when we find ourselves at that age, having not achieved, then we start thinking to ourselves that we've run out of time. But the actual truth is, you can never run out of time while you're still alive. So you set a target that you want to be married by the age of 30. Now you are 35 and you realize you're still not married. And you start saying things like, oh, it's not the will of God for me to be married. It's okay. I'm done. I'm okay with being single. No. You are living for what you can get and the targets that you have set that have nothing to do with God's plans for your life. You see, when you start living for who you are becoming, then you start realizing that age is no factor in who you are becoming. Because every single day when you are growing, there is no age limit to growth. And like I said, when you start becoming the kind of partner that you would want to attract, then you start attracting the right partner. When you start becoming a friend, a loyal friend that you expect others to be to you, then you start attracting quality friendships. When you start becoming a forgiving person, then you start attracting happiness into your life. It is in becoming something in a season that we start enjoying the fullness of who we were or who we are supposed to be in every season of our lives. You see, there are so many different seasons, but we keep carrying the same person into different seasons when we work towards what we can get. But when you recognize that there is somebody that you need to be in every season, then you start growing. Because whoever you were in the last season, you don't want to bring them in this season if that person is not good. That bad attitude that you used to have in that past season, now during winter, you start setting goals like, I want to bring a positive attitude about my life into spring. I don't want to be the kind of person who is bitter anymore in the next 6 months, in the next 5 months of this year. When you start becoming, you start attracting all these good things that you want. When you start becoming a financially educated person, then your bank balance starts aligning to the dreams that you've always had. But you have to become a certain person in order to have that bank balance. You see, we want 500,000, for example, in your bank account. And if you are living for what you can get, then you can save up the 500,000. But when you get to that target, what then do you do beyond that target? Becomes a problem. If you didn't become someone, if you didn't become a certain person that can handle 500,000 rand and keep growing it, then all those years of savings you're going to destroy in a year, in a couple of months, because you didn't quickly become a certain person while you were still saving. You were focused on the rands and cents when you were supposed to be focused on the person that you are, so that when you achieve the target, then you are able to handle that money with care. How many times have we watched They Blew It? If you get 1 million rand from lottery, best you become a millionaire. Because you cannot use the kind of tactics or style of spending that you used to use when you are poor, when you have 1 million rand in your bank account. Because soon enough, you will be poor again. Who are you becoming in this season? I dare you to live for who you are becoming rather than for what you can get. I am Pulaa Montz, your inner peace and purpose coach.